You're listening to Vet Candy.
Hey all, this is Dr. Jill Lopez. You may know me as the founder of Vet Candy, but do you know why I started Vet Candy? Simply put, it's because of people like you. I love that in our profession, there's always somebody new to meet. I'm really passionate about meeting new people and sharing their stories. And I consider myself fortunate to work in a field that is full of the coolest people on the planet. And that's why I created 21 Questions, to share their stories. With 21 Questions, we take a deep dive into interesting stories and topics. We talk with others in a free-formed, wide-open, relaxed conversation to not only have some laughs, but maybe to inspire some people along the way. Are you ready to get started? I am. Let's go.
I'm so excited to introduce you today, the unicorn incarnate, Amy Newfield. Welcome to the show, Amy. How are you doing?
Very good. Thank you so much for having me. It's really an honor.
I'm so excited to have you on the show. I've just been watching you. I've been standing, I guess is the term, you for a while. I've been watching you from the sidelines, like seeing your career, what you're doing and stuff. And you're so funny. I love your books too. I love the one. I love that one. The Oops, My Team is Toxic. I think that's hilarious.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah. So yeah. And then you also have Oops, I Became a Manager, the Oops series.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. Yeah. It started off with Oops, I Became a Manager because it was a title slide in a presentation for over a decade. And I used to joke to the audience, if I'm ever going to write a book, this is the title of the book. Everyone laughed. And I was like, I should just write this book. So there you go. And then when you think about your second book and it's centered around the negativity and toxicity, you're like, I'm just going to stay with the Oops theme at this point. So, yeah.
That's great. So you're like, what's your next book going to be?
You know, I get asked that. I know, right? Oops, I started a company. Yeah, that's probably not a bad title of a third book. So,
yeah. Well, we came up with it on this show.
There you go. You heard it here first.
Yeah, we heard it here first, folks. So that's so cool. And then I know you just started your company too. I'm so excited because we don't see a lot of women starting their own companies when they should be starting their own companies. So, and it's Vet Team Training, right? Vet Team Training.
Yes, correct. Yep, that's the name.
Okay, cool. And so it's geared, you're just like snubbing the veterinarians in the world, and it's just for vet techs?
No, not at all. It's actually for everybody. And so really, honestly, I started the business in the later half of 2020, and I do consulting work with hospitals. So I focus on culture, leadership development. But honestly, I've had some time on my hands, and because you have time on your hands, your brain starts to thinking about things. And I just started thinking you know what doesn't exist in the market is a continuing education site where all the educators are veterinary technicians and veterinary nurses, but it is for everybody. In fact, 99% of the race approved accreditation on our website is actually for both veterinarians and vet techs. But the coolest thing is it's the vet techs and vet nurses that are delivering it to the veterinarians this time.
And as they should. And I can tell you from being an average veterinarian back in the day when I saw practice, if I was a human and I went to a veterinary practice and someone had to take my blood, I would not want a veterinarian to take my blood. I would go, vet tech, take my blood, And I guarantee any vet in the vet practice would feel the same way, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So I definitely welcome everybody. Hands down, come on in. Just know that you're not going to find a veterinarian educating you. It's going to be only vet techs and vet nurses because veterinarians, you have a ton of content out there. You've got a ton of lectures. You're educating vet techs and vet nurses. So it's our time to educate you.
Yeah, as you should, as you said. So are you ready to play the game?
I am ready to play this game. Let's do it.
And I have a feeling this is going to be my favorite show, I think, ever. Because I feel like...
Don't set the bar too high.
It's high. The bar is high because we've had some really great people. But also we've had people that are not very spontaneous. Let me say that. So... Okay, your first question is, what is the most embarrassing thing you have ever done?
Oh, that's a good question. I'm going to go back to my childhood, and there's a lot of embarrassing things, but this one is particularly embarrassing. I think I was 8 or 9 years old, And my mother had always dried my hair for me with a hair dryer. And this particular school day, she was busy. She said, dry your own hair. And this sounds so stupid because at the age of 8 or 9, you should be able to use a hair dryer. Only I went ahead and I literally held it too close to my scalp and burned my hair off, where I had a gigantic bald spot on the top of my head. We resolved this by rushing me into a hair stylist really early in the morning because she was a family friend, and she made me an afro, and I was known as Afro Amy for at least a year of my school education.
So she gave you a perm, so your hair was all curly?
No, she just kind of did a comb over and a lot of product, and I ended up being Afro Amy for at least a year of my education, which is very embarrassing at that age. And so there you go. That was my nickname for a year.
Well, at least it wasn't in junior high.
No, thankfully not. No, if I couldn't use a hairdryer in junior high, we've got bigger problems, right?
Well, can you use a hairdryer now?
I can, and I can safely, and I no longer burn my mother actually said to me, didn't you feel it getting really hot on your head? And I remember saying something like, yes, but I just thought that was normal. So maybe a high level of pain. I don't know. That was very embarrassing, only because the humiliation. You had to go to school and with a completely different hairdo and a bald spot on top of your head.
Okay, hold it right there. Let's take a break and go to our sponsor, and we'll come right back and finish this conversation.
We'll be right back with more Vet Candy.
You are listening to All Creatures, How to Survive the End of the World, based on a short story by Dr. Jill Lopez.
I don't know who will even read this. I guess someone may find these notes eventually, maybe years from now, if there are any survivors. For the record, I didn't think doing someone a simple favor would result in me standing here on the roof of my practice praying to be rescued.
Kyra, are you okay? You're bleeding.
It's okay. He didn't mean it. He was scared, and I probably just scared him. Look, just a tiny scratch.
I'm here in Riverton, where a series of aggressive dog incidents has the community on edge. Over the past few hours, multiple residents have reported being attacked by what appears to be a pack of dogs. The injuries vary in severity, with some individuals requiring medical attention. I spoke with local authorities who are advising residents to stay indoors.
Inform public health officials. They might need to respond more broadly. Keep me posted. This is an alarming case. Be careful, guys. Really careful. This is an alarming case.
Okay, if the door breaks down, we're done. If it doesn't, we're stranded up here until we die of thirst. If that doesn't happen, we'll eventually run out of food and starve to death. Or maybe we die of thirst first, then food? I can't remember. But either way, our options are looking pretty dreary.
Ready? 1, 2, 3. Run!
Now let me focus on getting you out of here.
How to Survive the End of the World features lead actors Clay and Caitlin Palmer, along with Angela Stoyanovska and Martin Manev. The show was crafted and produced by audio engineer Vasco Kostovsky, alongside Vet Candy. You can tune into All Creatures on iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, or your preferred podcast platform.
Next question. What is the weirdest dream you've ever had?
Oh my goodness. I have repetitive dreams, and I don't know that I can't think of any that are weird, but I fly a lot in my dreams. And then I am arachnophobic. And so I have now processed those dreams better, but inevitably, at least a couple times a year, I have a dream where we're talking, it's the size of your bed, spider coming down upon me. And with all of its fangs and its million eyeballs and its legs, and it's literally coming down on my face, and I wake up from a cold sweat going, but I realize it's all just in my head. I've gotten better at it where now I realize it's just my dream, but I don't know if those are weird or not, but yeah.
That's pretty weird.
Spiders.
I will tell you. So what if you've never had a patient that was a spider?
No, thank God, right? No, Amy does not do spiders. I don't know what I would do. I would look at it from a distance.
We just moved from New Jersey to Connecticut 2 years ago, and I can't believe that New England spiders here are huge. So yeah, they're wolf spiders, I think. Are they wolf spiders? They're like baby tarantulas.
They look like baby tarantulas. I'm pretty sure they lunge for jugulars and they try to murder you. So that's why it's a very rational fear I have.
Yes, yes. Okay, cool. Next question. What's one of the most fun childhood memories you have?
Most fun childhood memories. Honestly, I just really loved connecting with nature. I loved probably just going for, like, my parents would always take us to this cabin that had a lake, and that was just a lot of fun. You could, I think it was different times back growing up in the 80s, and as a kid, they just would set you loose on the streets and you had no cell phones, and I would just ride my bikes and then walk in the woods with my friends, and we would just meet up in neighborhoods, and my parents didn't know where we were, and it was great. And then when we went on vacation, we went on vacation with a ton of our cousins, and we had this like lake area, and we just all rented out the cabins, and we were basically like feral children just running through the woods. We'd wake up at 7 a.m. and leave and be like, I'm going to go see my cousin, and run out the door. And then, I don't know, at some point it was dinner time. So I think those moments they were just so much fun, because you look back and you realize just the freedom that we had as kids back then, and just being outside as a kid was a really wonderful thing. So yeah.
Yeah, that's true. And you grew up in Massachusetts too?
No, I grew up in Pennsylvania, actually.
Oh, which is practically Massachusetts.
I mean, sort of. Yeah, it's East Coast. Yeah, it's like very similar, just a lot larger. You can fit a lot of Massachusetts into Pennsylvania. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's true. Okay, so next question is, what is the last show you binge watched?
Oh my goodness. Well, I have to say I don't binge watch, so that probably makes me a geek.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I know. I just finished The Last of Us. And so I don't know that anyone could binge watch it because they only did one episode chunk at a time. And I was behind a couple weeks. There are times where I'll sit down and maybe I'll watch like 2, maybe 3 hours in a row. And I count that as binge watching. But Last of Us was pretty decent. So I enjoyed that. Oh. Oh, I had no idea. I know not, I mean, I knew there was a game, but I don't know anything about the game. So I just watched the show
Yeah, there's
blind.
these diehard fans that think
Oh,
that
yeah.
she's not the right, like there's this whole thing going on. She's all upset about it. And I don't know. I mean, get over it. Get over it. She's casted. She's in the show. It's not a game. It's a show. But I love the actor Pasquale who's on there. He's like the dad, but he's not her dad, but he's amazing. And now I see he's in like everything. He's been in everything and I never noticed him.
Yeah, well, Mandalorian, he also plays the main character in The Mandalorian. And I mean, I have to say, like, I love Mandalorian primarily because of Baby Yoda, who has the dumbest actual name ever, Grogu. But yeah, I love that show as well. So yeah, no, he's been in a lot of stuff now. I feel like he's everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah, he's awesome. So, okay, next question. What is your favorite movie that you can watch over and over again?
Easy, The Last Unicorn. And probably very few people know what I'm talking about. Have you ever seen that?
I know what you're talking about. Caitlin Palmer, who is the host of Obsessed with the Palmers. I was telling you about her earlier before we started. She is obsessed with that movie. She has a statue in her, like she has like this, like a tribute to The Last Unicorn. She is obsessed.
It literally holds the meaning of life in that movie. And I mean it sincerely. I loved it when I was a kid and I still love it. I could watch it a million times. I will cry every single time. So yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, she's like, she said if her house burns down, she's grabbing her animals and her husband, but she's grabbing that statue, the tribute. Yeah. Okay. Next question. Who is your celebrity crush?
I don't really have any celebrity crushes. When I was a kid, it was Will Smith.
He's not very popular right now.
No, he's not, but he was. And growing up in Pennsylvania, the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, like
he put you guys on the map.
Yeah,
you guys were on the map. Yeah.
Yeah. So totally addicted to Fresh Prince, and then therefore Will Smith. But Now I don't know. I don't idolize a lot of people. I don't have crushes on a lot of people. So maybe that makes me abnormal. But I think as you get older, you realize what true sexiness is, and it's not celebrities. So it just, I feel like that'd be a lot of drama. If some fancy celebrity asked to date me, I'd be like, maybe, but I don't want the drama. I'm like an introvert, be in my house. I don't want the paparazzi. So yeah, I guess I haven't thought about it much as I've gotten older.
Okay. Okay. Next question. What's the craziest thing you've ever done?
Craziest thing I've ever done. I've done some crazy things according to my family. I don't think that they're crazy. So up until, the pandemic, I used to run Tough Mudders. I scuba dive in the wintertime in New England, in fact. They think that's super crazy. I think it's totally normal. So I'm in the dry suit, but my head still gets wet. So it is cold. I mean, when you put yourself in 32-degree body of water, it doesn't matter. You're going to be cold anyway. I guess I don't know that they count as crazy, but yeah, I like to stay busy. I like to stay active. And people say those are nutty things. But yeah, I trail run every day, including in the rain and the mud. I just like to do it.
Oh, really? So you're like a runner, but you're hiking, but you're running?
Yeah, correct. Trail running is a slower version of actual road running because you occasionally have to stop in order to not die. So you're going up or down things. And you have to pay attention to your footwork the entire time. You just have to be like rock, root, tree, so you don't crash into any of those. So yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I would go hiking, and I mean, a brisk hike or whatever, but up here in New England, in Connecticut, we have rocks everywhere and roots. Like I spend all my free time moving rocks. Like we should have a rock store and sell them because we have so many rocks.
Yeah. There are a lot of rocks in New England. That's for sure. There's a lot of rocks here.
Okay. And next question. What is the best advice you've ever received?
I'm going to say that a veterinary technician told me to do a case report challenge, which changed the trajectory of my career. So I've always been a writer. And this particular veterinary technician was a lecturer at a conference I went to. And I asked her, how did you get into this? Like, I don't think I ever want to lecture, but just how did you get into be a speaker? Because at the time, especially in the early 2000s, the late 90s, most of the people who were educating veterinary technicians were veterinarians. And so here was a vet tech who was lecturing to me. And I just thought that was the most fantastic thing. And she said, you know what, Amy, I really think I'm going to challenge you to do a case report challenge at IVEX. And I did it and I won the case report challenge. And then the panel said, do you want to come back next year and lecture on the topic, which was such an easy topic? I got to tell you, it's ischemia and reperfusion injury. And I said, yeah, I guess I would love to lecture on an hour of ischemia reperfusion injury. I don't know why I said yes to it, but honestly, it changed the complete trajectory of my career. I would have never been a lecturer if this person had said that one thing. So,
oh, wow. So always never say no to an opportunity, right?
Correct. Yeah. Never say no. Never say no to somebody who believes in you, who thinks you should do something. Give it a try at least once. If you hate it, then don't do it again. But yeah.
Okay, cool. Next question is, what's a bad habit that you have overcame or you want to overcome?
Oh my God. I used to be the worst nail biter ever. Like there were no fingernails ever on me. And I think it has to do with anxiety and OCD a little bit because people who bite their nails, like most of the time while you're doing it, one, nerves, but two, because you're a slight perfectionist in the sense that if there's a slight divot or a deviation in your nail, you just are not happy about it. And you just have to pick it and make it perfect. People who bite their nails know exactly what I'm talking about. Like you look down, you're like, so I did overcome it. There are times where I kind of slightly recess a little bit where I have to then regress, I should say. And then I have to pull myself back and be like, don't bite your nails, Amy. But it is a hard habit to break. That's for sure.
Okay, cool. Well, that's one I wish I could. The only way I can break it is when I get fake nails on and then I can't chew on them. But then I'm moving rocks. I'm moving rocks every day. So the fake nails don't last very long. So I don't know. I figure when my kids are in college, maybe I could start getting my nails done and stop. Maybe by then I'll get all the rocks out. So next question, if you had a luxury RV, where would your dream road trip destination be?
Oh, I am going to the mountains in the woods. That's where I'm going. I do love to scuba dive, but you will see me in the middle of nowhere. And there's so many beautiful parts of this country. So I can't pick just one, but I'd probably stay in the northern half. I mean, you've got the state of Washington, Oregon. Oh my gosh, New England, just Maine, New Hampshire, and Vermont is gorgeous. So I might drive to Canada too. They have some lovely areas. So yeah, you'll just see me in the woods.
Yeah. Okay, awesome. Okay, next question. What's your favorite food of all time?
Chocolate, not even a bauble. It's chocolate. I'm a chocoholic. I actually just had a piece of Godiva before I hopped on this call. There is probably not a day that goes by that I don't eat some semblance of chocolate, which is why I then have to run. So yeah, I have to run in the woods because I love chocolate.
Run in the woods. Yeah. That's why I'm moving the rocks. I'm moving the rocks because I'm a chocoholic too. What's your favorite type of chocolate though? Do you like dark chocolate, milk chocolate?
I think there's a chocolate for everything that you want. And so to me, I hate to just put myself on one chocolate. I think you have your super dark, beautiful, bittersweet chocolates that are crafted and cost a lot of money. And then you just have your Hershey bar. And listen, there's nothing that goes better in a s'more. I've tried. You can't take a dark chocolate bar and stick it in a s'more. It doesn't taste like a s'more.
That almost seems like that could be a lesson, like a life lesson. You can't take a really expensive piece of chocolate and make a good s'more out of it. You need the trashy chocolate. Yeah.
You need that creamy milk chocolate, like the butter and the cocoa, all the bad things. You shove it in with a marshmallow and graham cracker. There's nothing better.
Well, have you ever been to Hershey, Pennsylvania, if you're such a chocoholic? Oh, you have?
So fun fact, for my birthday, up until I was like a teenager, my parents, and my birthday's in the wintertime, Hershey Park would be closed, but there was always a candy portion that was open, and they had an indoor ride of how they made chocolate. And every year my parents would say, what do you want to do on your birthday? And I go to Hershey, Pennsylvania to ride this one indoor ride, buy some candy and go home. So there you go.
Yeah, that sounds like a lot of fun. Well, I went there a few years ago, and I couldn't believe, like, oh my God, there's so much chocolate. It's like chocolate everywhere. Chocolate everywhere. I loved it. The town smells like chocolate. Yeah, it is. It's a beautiful place. Okay, cool. Next question is, what are 3 items on your bucket list?
Oh my goodness. Well, there are places I need to visit. And so I need to scuba dive the Galapagos. I need to go on an African safari. That is a must. And I have to see the Northern Lights. And I don't know where that will be, but I need to see those things. So there you go. I need to do those 3 things in my life.
Okay, cool. Next question is, what is the weirdest thing in your closet?
Weirdest thing in my closet. Oh, I don't think I have too many weird things, except for like I do have scuba gear. So I don't know, like, if you open up, I have an entire closet dedicated to scuba equipment. And so that might shock people when they open up and they're like, my God, there's like wetsuits and fins. And you're like, do you have any clothes? No, it's all just scuba equipment in one closet. So I don't think there's anything too much other weird things. So yeah.
Yeah, that'd be scary. Like if it was dark at night and someone went in your closet, they would say, like, "Oh, there's like a monster with like the Loch Ness monster from the Massachusetts Triangle is coming after you." Yeah,
exactly. Occasionally I forget that I've hung up like my dry suit, which looks like a human being, and it'll be hanging up, and I'll walk down the hallway and there will be a figure without a head. And I realize, oh, it's just my dry suit. It's fine.
oh, everything's gonna be okay. Okay, good. Next question. What is your biggest regret?
This goes back to that movie, The Last Unicorn. So one of the biggest life lessons in there, I know I could talk about it all day. It's interesting because as a child, the unicorn turns into a human being. And in the moment that she turns into a human being, she feels like complete despair, and she turns to an actual human being, and they said, what's wrong? And she said, I've learned to regret. And that's a human being emotion. And I just, at that moment in time, I kind of realized, like, I want to live my life with as little as regrets as possible. That's the thing that we look back and we feel like we should have done something differently, or our life should have changed in some way. I have to say, I don't have many regrets in life. Maybe because that's how I live my life. Or if I have a regret, I try very hard to make peace with it and figure out how to move on from it. And I do my best to try to live as regret-free as possible. But Yeah, it sounds, maybe that's an easy out. I don't really have a ton of regrets in life. I really,
Yeah, I mean, that's fine. That's the way to live, though. Don't regret. Yeah, live without regrets. Yeah, yeah. Okay. Next question is, what is your dream job?
oh my gosh. Well, it's just going to sound so stupid. I'm doing it.
Oh, good. No, I want it. That's what I expected you to say. I expect you to say that.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's good. That's good. Yeah. There is nothing. I wanted to work with animals since I was a little kid. My parents will tell you I'm like the cliche vet tech. There wasn't anything else I want to do. I just wanted to work with animals. And as I've gotten, through this career, I realized like you can impact animals by impacting the people. And it is just it's a really great feeling to be able to change someone's either career or their leadership style or who they are as a veterinary technician or educating veterinary technicians. There's still no greater joy than when I watch light bulbs go off in their head and they walk away and say, "Oh my God, I didn't know that, but I do know it now." And you're going to impact that patient, like a patient's life because of that. So I'm getting to do it every single day, which is awesome. So yeah, I want to be a veterinary technician.
Well, you're living it. You're living it. Good. Good. Okay. Next question is, what's the one thing you can't live without?
I think honestly, pets in my life. I have had some amazing animals, and I'm truly fortunate to have had both my parents really let us have a ton of animals growing up, and just be around nature. And I think I wouldn't feel like a complete person if I didn't have animals in my life, whatever that looked like. I feel like it wouldn't be myself because they teach me so much about enjoying the small things and about just living a better life and breathing a little bit more and stressing out less. So really every day that I get to spend around either my pets or, patients or even animals in the wild, it's just, yeah, to me, I don't think I could live without that. So yeah.
Okay, cool. Okay, next question. If you were in the middle of a zombie apocalypse, who are the 3 people you'd want on your team?
Let's see. Well, I would definitely want my father. He is an amazing hunter. He is. So you want somebody who knows how to do something with a weapon. You want somebody with a weapon. I would probably also want to I'll say my boyfriend right now, because otherwise he'll probably, if he hears this, will be like, yeah, because he's very logical and he is good at problem solving. So that would be the second person.
So your dad and your boyfriend, and your dad has a gun.
Yeah, my dad has the gun.
Yeah, your boyfriend's going to be real excited about that, right?
Yeah, probably. I don't know if my boyfriend can shoot at all. So,
well, wonder how fast he can run.
Not very. So we're going to be in trouble. He can logically think things out. So I think that would probably be a good one. And then, let's see here. I'd probably take one of my best friends just to make me laugh and be a companion. So I've got logic. I've got somebody who's going to kill shit for me. And then I've got somebody just to
have a good time. Yeah. To make it worth the while. Yeah.
I feel like that's a good balance, right?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Okay. Whoa. I'm just getting a note. We have to go to commercial break. So you guys keep listening and we'll be right back.
We'll be right back with more Vet Candy.
Are you ready to unmask the opioid crisis and uncover the vital role of veterinarians in the battle against it? Join me, Clay Palmer, for Unmasking the Opioid Crisis, a veterinarian's vital role unveiled, presented by Vet Candy and brought to you by Covetrus. In this enlightening podcast series, I will take you on a journey through the layers of the opioid crisis and talk about the role veterinarians play to help protect their patients, communities, and even themselves. Together, we'll unravel the complexities, engage in insightful discussions, and gain valuable insights. Stay tuned for a podcast that empowers, educates, and unites us in the battle against opioid misuse. Don't miss Unmasking the Opioid Crisis. Tune in on Vet Candy on a podcast platform of your choice, and let's make a difference together. Brought to you by Covetrus and presented by Vet Candy.
Okay, next question is, okay, you go somewhere and there's a karaoke bar, there's this contest and you have to like win. What song are you going to sing?
Oh my gosh. What song would I sing? I probably just sing Staying Alive. It's to me like, yeah, it's such a fun song and there's not a lot of words in it. So I think anyone can just go staying alive, staying alive. Like I feel like I could probably, I'm definitely nobody wants to hear me sing. But if I could add in some dance moves, maybe I would win. Yeah, I would be belting out, a terrible version of Staying Alive while clearly doing some dance moves. So there you go.
Okay, cool. Okay, this one's a little weird. I mean, not that any of the other ones weren't, but okay, there's a time machine. You can go anywhere into the past or the future. Where would you go and why?
Ooh, where would I go and why? See, if I could, I'd like to go to the beginning of creation, if that's a thing. I don't know if one can go to the beginning of creation, but I think, or when dinosaurs roamed or something like that. I think I would just like to, as long as there's a time machine, I could come back from it. I just want to see, like, who doesn't want to see a dinosaur? Like, who doesn't want to see
me? I don't want to see one. What if it's like a dinosaur spider?
Yeah. Or like the impact of like how this planet came to be, or, I don't know, or all of a sudden a little salamander crawls out, and starts its evolution. Like, I don't know. I think I'd like to go back to seeing what the world was when maybe dinosaurs roamed the earth. Like that'd be really cool.
Yeah. Do you ever work? I mean, I'm sure you're not working with chickens in the practice, but we have chickens and they're supposed to be the closest relative to dinosaurs. They're so dinosaur-like. Their feet are like crazy. And we have this big turkey and he is his feet look like dinosaur feet, like that raptor feet.
Yeah, they're crazy. Them and alligators like are crazy looking too. Those are really crazy. But yeah, I often say they're like pterodactyls, right? They, small flightless pterodactyls.
Yeah, we were thinking about getting an emu and I was in Massachusetts looking at some emus and I'm like, this is probably not a good idea because it's like a freaking dinosaur. It's like, it's a feathered dinosaur and it's like looking at me in the eyes, and I thought, no, I don't think I'll stick with my chickens, nothing like that. Cause, I watched Jurassic Park too many times. Okay. So your last question, you made it to 21. You did it. So your last question is, if you were a superhero, what would your power be? Your superpower?
Well, I can tell you what superhero I would always want to be. And that, because I was addicted to him, I want to be Batman. And
really?
100%. Batman's my favorite superhero. And here's the thing about Batman. Batman's a regular human being.
He doesn't have any superpowers. He just has some good equipment.
Yeah. So Batman you got it. And so Batman was a regular person who decided to become their own superhero. And as a child, I didn't actually own a lot of stuffed animals. I know that sounds really weird, but I had all kids sleep with toys. My toys were a rock hard Dumbo and actually a rubber Batman. It was this rubber kind of like toy Batman. And so I still have Batman actually. I do. My parents saved him. And like 5 years ago, they were like, look what we still have. And I was like, is that for Batman? Which is so weird because that is not a normal childhood toy to sleep with. But I loved Batman and Robin, that show. I loved the early on movies. Gosh, I'm some of the newer movies I like, and some of them I'm just like, what are we doing?
So who's your favorite Batman?
Oh my gosh. I mean, oh God, I'm trying to think here. Who would be my favorite? I mean, Michael Keaton. Like, how could you not?
Yeah, he was really good. He was really good. You know who I watched this show about Val Kilmer, and everyone hated him in Batman. They were making fun of him, but once you watch that show and you hear what happened to him, he was trained at Juilliard. He was like a method actor. He didn't seem like it. Yeah, he seems like he's just some jokester, but he was like classically trained and he's playing Batman. And he said, they put me in the suit. I couldn't hear and I couldn't even move. And they expected me to act. So he said that's what happened because he was just like you. He loved Batman. It was his fantasy to be Batman. And then the reality is like, he couldn't hear, he couldn't move, he couldn't even talk. And then they just so it was like a disaster. So if you watch the show and you find out about it,
Okay, I'll have to check it out because I definitely did not love him. I definitely would say Michael Keaton and then Christian, yeah, and then Christian Bale. Christian Bale did a very good job. I mean, he was just so good, kind of a little reminiscent of Keaton. So yeah.
Yeah. Oh man, he is such a good actor. I think he must be a method actor too. My God. Yeah, he's so good. I mean, he is a little crazy on set, but everyone has a bad day, right?
Exactly.
So cool. So you made it through 21 questions. I'm so excited. That was so much fun. So if somebody want to connect with you, I know we're connected on LinkedIn. I think we might be connected on Instagram too. But how can people get in touch with you?
Yeah. So obviously check me out on Facebook or Insta at Vet Team Training. And then my website is vetteamtraining.com. And if you need to email me, it's vetteamtraining@gmail.com. So it's super easy. So definitely reach out to me if you have any questions or check out my website.
Okay, cool. So thanks for being on the show today. And audience, check it out. Get her books, learn about her CE program. And also I think next week we have on our show Meredith Mapes, who's a vet tech in Alaska. And not only is she in Alaska, she does the Iditarods. So she's going to tell us all about that, which if you think Massachusetts is cold, you don't got nothing on Alaska. She was telling me about it. She said you go and you're traveling and I mean, it's life or death. If something happens, there's no one to help you. And she said you could have a steaming cup of boiling hot water, throw it in the air and it becomes ice.
That's crazy. That's too cold. But that sounds like amazing work that she does. And I'm slightly jealous because that sounds some epic level stuff. So
yeah. So listen, we'll meet you guys next week. And thanks for listening. Bye.
It's Vet Candy. It's Vet Candy Radio.